Hey, what's going on guys? My name's Sky, and I'm going to be walking you through this very first raid testing iteration for Heroic Fatescribe Roh-Kalo. Fatescribe is going to apply Heroic Destiny to your current active tank. It's a debuff that lasts 8 seconds and deals some ticking damage. Your tank will have 8 seconds to run out of the raid and have the debuff expire as far away as possible. This is because it's going to deal room-wide damage, which is mitigated the further away your tank is from your raid. Furthermore, when the debuff expires, it's going to spawn a Burden of Destiny ad. This ad is going to fixate on the tank that dropped it off, and if it reaches the tank within 5 yards, it'll trigger Overwhelming Burden, which will cause massive room-wide damage every 2 seconds. To deal with this ad, make clever use of crowd control since it's completely CCable, and have your range DPS swap to it first and your melee as it gets closer to melee range, while ensuring it doesn't reach the fixated tank. Each time Fatescribe attacks a new target, he's going to deal damage to them with Diviner's Probe. This means that your tanks don't really want to swap who's tanking the boss outside of dealing with Heroic Destiny. Twist Fate is simply random damage on random players that needs to be healed. Every once in a while, you're going to have to deal with dodging Fated Conjunction. This is going to resemble a set of 4 dark gray beams that fire off after a 6-second delay. The reason it's tricky to dodge is because the telegraph that's displayed doesn't show the entire hitbox of Fated Conjunction, as it's going to shoot across the room as well. It kind of fires out in the shape of an hourglass, so anywhere directly across or at a wide angle on the opposite side is not going to be safe. An easy way to dodge Fated Conjunction is by hugging the side of the visual that's displayed. Random players in your raid are going to have to deal with the Call of Eternity debuffs. This ability has a very large telegraphed circle indicator, and these players are going to suffer some dot damage. When the debuff expires, the players are going to take bigger damage and drop the orbs off. Echo of Eternity makes it that 8 seconds later, these orbs are going to detonate within that same 20-yard circle indicator. It's really important to run these orbs very far out, as every other Call of Eternity you're going to have to deal with an overlap of the previous orbs that people dropped exploding, as well as the new set of orbs exploding. At 85, 60, and 35% health, Fatescribe is going to enter his intermission phase and spin some runes on the Loom of Fate and knocking all players back. Note that the boss takes 99% less damage during these intermission phases, but you can get some trim on him while he enters the phase. As soon as you enter this phase, you're on a timer to realign some of the runes to their correct spots. Not every ring of runes needs to be spun back into their slot, only a few select ones are affected. The runes that need to be realigned are going to be marked with a blue light. The spot that they need to be realigned to is indicated with a blue bracket. You'll need to stand on the lit up blue rune to spin it back into its indicated slot. An odd number of players will cause the rune to spin clockwise, while an even number of players standing in the rune will cause it to spin counterclockwise. If the rune needs to be spun clockwise, simply have a player solo stand in the rune. If it requires to be spun counterclockwise, have 2 people stand in the rune to make it simple. Use your eyes and determine quickly which way would make the rune reach its slot faster. Failing to realign these runes within a timely manner will result in a wipe due to Darkest Destiny. We simply assign 4 sets of pairs to be responsible for realigning the inner and outermost rings. During the intermission, you're constantly going to need to be dodging Fate Fragments. These are orbs that travel at a very low speed but deal a big chunk of damage and stun you for 4 seconds when hit. There's also going to be ads spawning constantly called Fate Spawn Anomalies. These are going to spam cast Anomalous Blast, which is interruptible. Your tanks are going to want to pick these up fast, and everybody's going to want to do their best to interrupt and AoE these down. We found it pretty useful to locate an inner ring that didn't need to be spun or realigned and stacking there as a raid. This allowed our healers to be in range of pairs realigning runes perhaps on the opposite side of the room, as well as our tanks having a more centralized position and easier time picking up the ads. This boss fight is a rinse repeat except for the final phase from 35% boss health to 0. All the same mechanics as his usual phase are going to be happening, except the boss is also going to occasionally cast Extemporaneous Fate. During Extemporaneous Fate, you're only going to have to spin back 2 runes into their indicated slots. So it's kind of like a light mid-phase. There won't be any ads and there won't be a knockback, but you'll have to deal with all the other usual mechanics from Fatescribe. For this, again, we only assign 2 pairs of players to go out and take care of these runes ASAP, as failing to realign them within 30 seconds will cause your raid to wipe from Darkest Destiny. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the subscribe button. You can also find links to all our socials in the description below, including our Discord community server. There you can keep an eye on live content updates, streams, giveaways, or even sign up for our own IMTB weekly Mythic Community Raid and show us what you got.